I'm just going to continue to provide audio input for the moment. The weather is very nice outside. It's not super hot. Yesterday there was a little bit of mist as I walked my dog around the block in the morning at about 6 a.m. So not typical July weather. Perhaps we will experience a little bit of a heat wave next week or as we get into August. But so far so good for the end of July, mid-July. I'm not complaining. And I'm receiving confirmation that audio is good. Adelaide, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here to continue talking about requesting that there's no more any permits whatsoever until the Church of Scientology has proven that they can obey or honor all the permits, because they have never done that yet, but also because of the slave wages. They work on the streets, they build the sets, they maintain that street, and the people doing that are paid at most $47 a week for 110 hours per week. I would really like for you to become more knowledgeable about how Scientology works, because that is absolutely illegal. And even though I have to deal with private investigators being sent after me for speaking up, they come into they interview my neighbors, they interview, my family, they follow, and I'm not the only one that's going through this. So, but I am so determined to make sure there's no slave labor or that these abuses continue, that I'm willing to go through that. But
And
that should also tell you.
And that's 1 minute, thank you. We'll move next to Gigi. Go ahead.
Okay, so I want to start off by asking you again to reconsider the time that you allow us to speak for public comment. I ask that you please give us 2 minutes, or if you can't do that every meeting, maybe once a month, give us 2 minutes each to speak with no 10-minute time limit. Also, I want to talk again about L. Ron Hubbard Way and how there should be parking. You should rip those bricks up, repave it, and put in metered parking, get the city some money. Thank you. Have a good day.
And we'll move next to Haggis.
Good morning. I would like to tap on to what Audit was talking about with the slave labor. I have an issue with that. Scientology uses the slave labor during these events that they put on. They shouldn't be having permits closing down a main vein to hospitals and public transit. And we cannot forget that Janet Whelan, Kendrick Moxon, Kirsten Catano Peterson were part and parcel to Operation Snow White, the largest infiltration of the US government in history by Scientology. So when we say that Scientology is trying to infiltrate your government, we're being serious. They've already been caught doing it. So please listen to what we have to say and walk away from any engagement that you have with them on a business level. Thank you, and I yield back my time.
We'll move next to Jill. Good morning, Jill.
I call again to say no to slave labor. I thought this ended when we had the Civil War worldwide, when we had a Holocaust that ended. They used people as chattel, and that's going on today under your noses in America. But aren't we in America? Do you guys really think that's appropriate, that you're on a board and you're allowing this and you're allowing the permits to still happen? What side of history do you want to be on? That's it. Bye.
We'll move next to Miriam.
Good morning. I'm here to raise a question. Why is the city of Los Angeles, including Port of Public Works, allowing slave labor on a public street? On L. Ron Hubbard Way, Scientology Sea Organization members are out there working in uniforms in the heat for $47 a week. That's not a wage. That's institutionalized abuse. If any other group put people to work under those conditions on city property, it would be a scandal. But because it's Scientology, the city looks the other way. This isn't religious freedom. This is slavery. It violates labor law, it violates human rights, and it makes a mockery of what this city claims to stand for. If the board refuses to act, then you are endorsing it. You are enabling exploitation in your jurisdiction. And history
And
will
that's
remember
and
that
that's
in
60
year
seconds.
2025,
Thank you. President King, there are 4 additional hands raised on the virtual platform. If you like, I can see if those 4 would like to offer public comment.
Yes, please.
And just a quick time check, there's 5 minutes left on the 10-minute block. Yvonne, would you like to offer public comment this morning?
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead. Yes.
I'd like the board to look into improving the reporting mechanisms that are available to the public. I reported a non-permitted construction rehabilitation of the building, and there's no way of finding out whether that report has the action was taken. And by now, the evidence and the cover up is probably well gone and past. That does not mean that the building is secure on the interior, the plumbing and wiring, and the seismic stability of the building might have been compromised. And we have no way of knowing that the people that are forced to be there and those that choose to be there are safe in their occupation and residing in that building. It is known that that building has got lead and asbestos in it.
Thank
Children
you.
were used to clear some of it in
Thank
the
you, Yvonne.
past.
That's 60 seconds. And Georgina, I see that you have your hand raised. Would you like to offer public comment this morning?
Yes, please. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. You have 60 seconds.
Thank you. I don't want that street closed. L. Ron Hubbard Way is being constantly closed for all of these activity permits. They're only doing that to maintain their slave labor hostage situation and to prevent protesters. Have you Googled Maureen Bolstad yet? Maureen Bolstad was that slave labor. Maureen Bolstad worked for them for next to nothing for years, and when she finally decided to leave and she tried to escape, they kidnapped her back. She had to work 3 more years under 24-hour surveillance doing hard labor, slave labor, and when she finally found a window, she escaped as soon as she could, but it took her 3 years. 3 years. Google Maureen Bolstad, please. I'm begging you. Thank you. I yield back my time.
Well, I do see a hand raised for Children's Voices Matter. Would you like to offer public comment this morning?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Greetings, all. I just wanted to bring up that there have been so many children in Scientology that were either hurt or later went on to take their own lives. Sergio Belinsky, who was playing with fireworks, lost both of his arms, and then was kicked out at the age of 14 or 15 years old by his mother. Nathan Rich, who was locked up against his will at the Lower Ranch in New Mexico. Serge Del Mar, who was a victim of child sexual abuse. Jenna Miscavige, who was made to be a maid at the age of 9 years old. Jose Avila, who was a victim of child sexual abuse. There was also a Swiss Scientologist who was a child Scientologist and later was thrown off a cliff and murdered by his own father. There was Stacy Moxon, who allegedly threw herself into an electrical transformer because she was not allowed to see her husband. Miriam Francis, victim of child SA. Philip Gale, who was a child Scientologist, later took his own life.
And that's 60 seconds. Thank you. Laura FM, would you like to offer public comment this morning?
Yes, please.
Go ahead. You have 60 seconds.
Thank you. I'm also going to attach to what these last few callers have been calling in about, the permits, about L. Ron Hubbard Way, and that you guys could actually do something really effective to change the abuses that are happening internally just based on what you guys, your job positions and what your authority is in terms of permitting them, allowing to make sure that actually the people on under the permit are actually getting paid, you know, the minimum wage or whatever the pay is, and that there aren't Sea Org members, Scientology Sea Org members working under this permit when they're only getting $47 or less a week. That is a very serious thing. I was a child born and raised in this. And so I definitely know that signing a billion-year contract and getting less than $47 a week was a normal thing. And I was working over 15, 16-hour days under very little sleep. So not only is it a risk for the city, but when you're giving out permits and there's Sea Org members who are not contracted
And
at all under
that's,
this.
thank you, that's 60 seconds. President Kang, that concludes public comment this morning.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close general public comment portion of today's meeting and move on to multiple agenda item public comment.
Thank you, President Kang. We'll go ahead and go to Audit LA. Audit LA, please identify which agenda item you are speaking on, and you have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, let's see. First, I think I'm gonna start with the last one, which is number 5. Okay, when it comes to bids, I'm gonna keep asking you to make sure, really, and you know, I wanna say last meeting, I was like so proud of you guys because you really were questioning and grilling and just really trying to get the information. And I understood, you know, people might not like to be on the hot seat, but you guys were doing your job. And I think it was the proudest moment I have had in this whole year of meetings. It was the most intense questioning, and I appreciate it. And I'm just asking you to continue that. I know it may make your meetings a little longer, but we are trusting you with our, you know, with the money. Remember, it's our taxpayer money that funds all these things, and you're the ones who are the gatekeepers of that money. So please continue. And that's what, like with this low bidder. Well, first of all, you know, with all the money going around, it's the sidewalks to me that are one of the priorities for the money, and they always seem to get the least amount of money. Like 2 million doesn't seem like a lot. And and also now is that you know, they didn't add CD13. I wish they would because I can't. There's one block, and it's Fountain Avenue between L. Ron Hubbard Way and Catalina that I cannot even go down. I cannot access it at all. And even though you have a billion-dollar organization right there, they're not going to fix it because for them it's a moat to keep people away. So I'm hoping the city will tackle that. But but also with the bidders, please make sure that these bids. I feel a lot of them, they come in saying we're the low bidder, and then they come asking for more money. They really need to know up front how much they know. They do this all the time, unless there's some kind of you know, exigent circumstance. They should know how much it costs, and so that this constant asking for more money will hopefully stop with the, you know, with the way that you guys do have been questioning. Let me go up to number 4, and I'm very happy that we have an engineer now on the team. Like I was very happy we have a president of a union because right now that's my passion is with the slave labor, but also engineering because you know I don't know what these companies like, you know, like there's private people that, you know, the big that they're called whales. They own businesses in Scientology and they have companies. I don't know if any of these companies are run by any of those, and if so, then they're not going to, there's likely possibility they're not going to follow the rules because if you ever, there's been so many complaints, you can look into it with building safety services of how they do not, when they're doing construction work on their buildings, they don't use safety helmets or harnesses, or there's all kinds of OSHA violations, but you can't, with OSHA, it has to be in the moment that you catch them for them to
And
be,
that's 3
to
minutes.
take a report.
Thank you, Audit LA. President King, I do see an additional hand raised on the virtual platform during that first commenter. If you like, I can see if the hand raised would like to offer multiple item agenda commentary
Yes,
or single item. Thank you. Miriam, would you like to offer multiple item agenda commentary this morning or single item agenda commentary?
Multiple.
Go ahead, you have 3 minutes. Please identify which item you're speaking on.
Yes, so I will start with number 4 as well. I think it's extremely important, like Audit LA has been mentioning every single week, that there is a control over these service contracts and the subcontractors that are working. So there is no kind of slave labor or violation of working laws happening underneath these contracts because they are still should be supervised by the city. Secondly, I wanted to comment on the point 3 regarding uncollectible accounts. I just wanted to remind at this point that Scientology still owes the fines for those planters on L. Ron Hubbard Way. and the amount is exceeding the $5,000. So I just wanted to put a little reminder over there. And point 2, regarding the electronic waste, I think it's great that there is investments done on this. And especially around the Scientology building, I think when they're going to be shut down, there will be much electronic waste to be removed because they are using this pseudo-scientific device called e-meter, and a lot of Scientologists own those, and they will need to be destroyed. So please put a lot of focus on that part of the city as well. That's all. Thank you.